Hey guys, thank you so much for joining today. I'm really excited to be here with the ladies of Rock Paper Coin. Katie and I go way back. We have been working together for years. Love her, trust her. We were just talking about how really challenging it can be in this industry to find people that you can trust to help you grow your business.
Yeah.
End of story. It's just really hard. So I'm still letting people in here. And so I trust Katie, I trust Melissa, I trust Rock Paper Coin. We have planners on our team using them. So I'm just really excited, honestly, to dive in with them, hear about how they do sales, a process they recommend, because honestly, this is the number one struggle for planners is sales. And I've already been looking at their notes and I'm pretty pumped because I'm like, yes, so much goodness ahead. Because sales can make or break your business. It doesn't matter how many leads you're getting in the door. If you're not good at sales, if you're not good at a process, it's not going to happen for you. And actually, Caldler Clark, who's a huge planner in Charleston, she's amazing. If you haven't heard of her, look her up. I actually heard this secondhand, but one of my planners who went to something she was speaking at, she was like, if you're not good at sales, basically you're not going to be successful in this industry. And so having a clean, clear process is part of that. So honestly, this is one of the most valuable sessions that we can possibly do. I'm going to let Katie and Melissa introduce themselves. They're going to dive into the content. It's going to be fabulous, y'all. And then, like I said, you can have questions in the chat, or you can follow up at the end. We're going to let you ask questions live. So I'll let you ladies take it away.
Thanks, Sarah. Hi, everyone. So my name is Katie, and I am the Director of Community and Partnerships at Rock Paper Coin. I am also a former wedding planner, so I have been in the trenches. I know where you are. I know what you're feeling. Like, I have been there. And I think that relatability is key, to being able to connect with anyone and being able to really lean into whatever somebody is trying to teach you. So I'm super excited to be here this morning. And I can't wait to show you Rock Paper Coin even. Like, it's going to be awesome. Melissa?
Hi, everybody. Thank you, Sarah. Thanks, Katie. I'm thrilled to be here. I am a community engagement coordinator here at Rock Paper Coin. That really means I get to work with wonderful people and members like you. I've been in the wedding industry for about 8 years myself, and that's something that maybe sets Rock Paper Coin apart, is that we all have a connection to the industry. We get it. We've been at the venues, dealing with flowers last minute, like working with brides and grooms. So we hear you, like Katie said. And yeah, I'm super excited to give you a little tour and answer any questions. And we at the end of the day, we totally get it. You guys have so many other things that you're working on that you need to focus on. So let's streamline and make this simple so you can just be professional, get it out the door, and move on to what you do best.
Yeah. Sarah, did you have any questions that you wanted to kind of ask us or walk us through? Or, we've got a couple that we can kind of get through, but since you're so awesome at questions.
You're so sweet. Well, first of all, thank you ladies so much for your time. Thank you for joining us. I know that time is valuable and precious. We all have so many other things going on. And there's so much going on in our world. So thank you for taking time just to chat with us. I think, as we dive in, a couple of the things that come to my mind is just like some of your favorite sales tips. Obviously, you guys are in the trenches with planners every day. You're talking about sales every day. You're getting feedback, kind of what you feel like are, the top things that set apart planners who are successful in sales, and, any advice for the people who are joining.
Yeah. So one of the beautiful things that I love about platforms in general, or just tools in regards to using them for sales, is that you can use them to really customize however your sales process is, because everybody's sales process is going to be different. Sarah, for instance, does an amazing job of bringing this community together and giving you access to education. But even within that education, you're going to use that education differently than the person sitting next to you is. So one of the things that I love about sales is just the fact that it can be completely customizable to what you need. But my favorite 3 sales tips, and again, take this how you will use it, is this. Really, for me, it's all about connection, efficiency, and confidence. Vibes will seal the deal 100% of the time. So step 1, be the first to respond to anything that you receive. Not a canned response, but a true response.
Yes.
We rely heavily, right, on customizable templates that you can easily personalize and hit send. It takes 2 seconds, like have it stored away, have it ready to go, but add in that little personal touch. It goes such a long way. And then also use this response to get all the info you can to book them. Partners info, location, services needed, the budget, the guest count, date, style, anything that you can think of, anything that you would need to add or put into your proposal or your contract, you should get during this first outreach. A pro tip, I loved this one when I was a planner. If you're on the go, keep the templates as a note in your phone. Copy, paste, customize, send. It's so easy. So that's tip number 1. I love how excited Sarah got about that.
Well, because I'm like, you let a lead sit there 5 days because you're trying to figure out if it's your uncle's birthday party or not. It's just, that's not going to happen for you anymore. They've already moved on. Because they formed an emotional connection with someone else.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. It's too late. It's too late. Yeah. You might as well just delete it. Like, don't even say hello. Like, it's fine.
I'm all about the work-life boundaries, but like if I had a 100K lead come in my inbox when I was the first couple of years I was a planner,
yep,
like I was stopping everything. My whole family knew, like, she's gonna be on the phone now. And I actually, I would call a lot of the time or text, which people are like so weird about that. But I'm trying to make that emotional connection first before anyone else, because that is just so strong. You get somebody in a conversation, text message works great too. And they just feel like all of a sudden, like they owe you because you've like listened to them, you're understanding their problems. And I mean, it makes it a lot easier to sell.
Yes. Well, then you are going to love number 2 because we're always on the same page. So step number 2, book a meeting as soon as possible. If you can't book a meeting as soon as possible, a quick phone call, if they're free, will work to just say hello, show them how awesome you are, get that connection, deep and starting to work. This is important because everyone they meet with or connect after will be compared to you. So that is such an important thing to remember. By setting the bar high right off the bat, you'll set yourself apart from everyone else that they connect with. And it'll allow you to become an expert in their eyes, and you'll have that real genuine connection. Another thing that I used to do is if they can't meet right away, or this is a client that you don't want to lose, that 100K client that's in your inbox, record a video, right? Like send a quick video, text it over to them or email it to them. Say hello, let them know that you're so excited to meet them, that you've already sent over an email, and they will feel that. Again, like vibes sell everything. So they'll feel that infectiousness from you, and they're gonna be like, wow, this person like really, really wants to meet with us, and they're really exciting.
Yeah, I love that, because I mean, getting face-to-face with people, even if it's via video, is everything. Wow. Who wants to hand their wedding over to someone they've only talked on the phone to?
Right.
I mean,
yes, or they get a canned response from. They're like, your website was so fun and personable, and then all of a sudden we just get, this canned response. And then step number 3, when you connect, whether by phone or in person, connect to lock them in. State the agenda of the meeting, state the timeline for the meeting, and the proposed outcome of the meeting, right? You can do this all very happily, but just kind of set that out there. Say like, hey, I want to connect with you, and I know you're busy, and I know that's why you're hiring a planner. So these are the things that I would love to do for you right out of the gate. And by explaining how easy and quick your process is, it shows them, number 1, that you're serious, but number 2, it shows them that you really have your business together. Yes. And then that will show that that's how you're going to work for them. So you're already setting that expectation. If you can, try to send your contract prior to the first actual meeting that you're going to have with them. But then if you're meeting in person, bring it with you. Number 1, it also shows that you're prepared. And number 2, you can just go through it right then. You don't have to wait for them to open it or do anything. You're right there. You can review it, you can answer questions, you can review your services, and then hopefully the connection you've made with them prior will allow them to feel confident in being able to lock you in. But if not, most importantly, let them know that the contract will stay live for X amount of days, whether it's 3, 5, whether it's 7, whatever it is, and that you're happy to answer any additional questions they may have, but that you're so genuinely excited to work with them and that you think that you'd be the perfect fit. If you've done all 3 of those things and they ghost you, we hate that. They ghost you, or you don't hear a response, or they send you that dreaded, heartbreaking email of like, oh, thank you for your time. We loved you, but we went with someone else. Like, why? Why would you do that? But if that happens, you can confidently walk away knowing that that entire connection that you gave was genuine and real.
Yeah. And it happens to everybody. I mean, I remember my first time meeting, I used to meet face-to-face. Wow. Mind blowing in the era of COVID, but I used to meet face-to-face. And I just remember the first time I met face-to-face with a client. And I just felt like, I still remember 2 clients in particular that I was just like devastated when they did not book me. So I'm like, but we had fun. We had Starbucks. We went to lunch. Like, I thought things were good.
Yes.
And, you know, I mean, so it happens to everybody. I have so many horror stories from my early days. But like you said, like, you're laying it all on the floor. You've given it your all. There's always extenuating circumstances that have nothing to do with you, finances, personal connections, those kind of things that can lead someone to choose someone else. And I always remind my team about that. But I love that. And I love the word confidence, because I think that's the number one thing people are looking for. They're looking for that quick response, that confidence, that seamless process, because like you said, they're going to see that as a reflection of how you're going to act in planning their wedding. And nobody wants to work with someone who doesn't know what they're doing and they don't have a good process in place. And I am a fan. People hate it. I like to say things in this industry though that people are like, what? It makes them mad. My big thing is like, fake it till you make it's a thing. I did it. I'm just like, sometimes you got to do it. Just act with confidence. Because for me, I remember just saying, I don't know the answer to that, but I'm going to find it out and let you later. And it's so you don't have to like fake it, like lie, but you might need to fake the confidence a little bit. In the inside, you might not be feeling it.
Yes. And there's nothing wrong either with acting acting the way you want to be in the future.
Yes. That's what I'm talking about. People are like down on that. I'm like, guys.
Yes. Like
sales.
Go ahead and start being and speaking about the planner that you plan to be in 3, 4, 5 years, but you may not be there yet. But there's no reason why you can't start speaking, acting, engaging in the way of the person that the business owner that you hope to be in the next couple of years. And through that, you'll automatically that'll start happening. Like everything will start changing and the things that you do will be different. So I'm with you totally.
I'm like, I need a shirt. Like fake it to make it is still a thing.
Yes.
Chancey Charm would not be serving luxury clients. I'm not a luxury client. I was not a luxury client. I didn't have luxury client connections, but styled shoots and like you said, dressing the part, having the confidence of the part, doing styled shoots for the part. That's how we got to that level. And I mean, so I'm a fan.
I love it. That's great. Melissa, do you have anything to add in there?
I just love your comment, Katie, about efficiency too, because we're all so busy. Like we just need to find the ways to, like you said, have that template ready as a response, but customize it. Or when you're sending out, invoices, have those automated reminders go out. And there are platforms that can do that, including Rock Paper Coin, but any way to maximize your time so that you can take those precious hours that you have during the day and really dedicate those towards really sealing the deal and or really working with your clients to the best way you can is huge. So it's all about efficiency too, but combining the two.
And I think it's important to remember that we all have different strengths. So for some, for me, I can bust out an email you know, anyone and make them feel like we've been best friends for 10 years. And, you know, and that's a gift that I have. Like I have the ability to connect with people in that way, but not everybody has that ability. And not everybody has the ability to just do that in 5 seconds flat, which is where the tip of like keeping it in your phone, like write it out ahead of time, like write out what the most perfect thing that you'd ever want to be able to say is, and write that out and use that as your template to be able to send that off. Because sometimes people, you know, they lack confidence in different ways. And if that's not your strength, is that first connection point and being able to like right out of the gate, sell yourself in the most perfect way that you'd want to, write it down, read from a script. There's nothing wrong with that because you're going to have strengths in other areas that are going to shine. But you don't need to suffer through the first parts of it until you get to the part that is your strength.
Yeah. Yeah. I have a sales process PDF, and in there is literally like, here are the questions you can ask if you're struggling with that. But also you have people like, I'm all about don't reinvent the wheel. You know, Skylar Caitlin has the most amazing email templates you've ever seen. If that's something you're struggling with, buy them. As soon as you book that first client, start reinvesting in that process. So it doesn't, because it kills me when I hear people say like, well, it just takes too much time to send that person a contract. What? I'm so sorry. Like I have heard that. I'm like, if you're not streamlining your processes to the point where you can send out a contract or send that email response within like 5 minutes, something's probably broken, you know, that you're wasting your time and then you're making it more stressful on yourself. So, I mean, efficiency, I'm all about efficiency.
Yes. Work smarter, not harder.
Yeah.
I always think that backwards, but I did it this time. Go me.
Exactly.
Love it. Perfect. So I think the next thing that we really love is, you know, knowing when, or the next, I mean, really, we get asked this all the time, but it's knowing when your business is ready for a CRM, right? Like that's just such an important thing. It's like, when is your business ready for this? When is your business ready for that? It's like, when is your business, you know, and not to compare it to another business, but if you see somebody who's similar to you and all of a sudden they're getting into new things, like how do you know when it's time for the next step? And I'm going to punt it to Melissa for a little bit because this is a little bit more in her wheelhouse. But, you know, I think that's the second top question that we get is just like, how do we know? How do we know that we're ready for something?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, for everyone who's, you know, been kind of at a certain stage, and we've talked about this, like fake it till you make it. In a way, if you have aspirations and goals, you've got to start thinking about like, yes, what's going to set you apart from everyone else who's trying to reach the same clients. And it may be a CRM tool. It may be a new team member. It's different for everybody, right? It may be social media advertising or more of a focus on social media outreach. But I do think it's something to be cognizant of, and you don't always have to like constantly be going through your list and like, have I done this today? Am I aware of this? But just check in with yourself periodically. Where am I standing right now? And where is that in the greater scheme of where I want to be and what others who I look to as well are doing. And maybe it is a tool like Rock Paper Coin that's making contracts and invoices and payments a little bit smoother and easier to work with. And maybe that saves you more time to do things on the front end with your clients or potential clients. So it's just kind of evaluating. There's so many tools available out there, and sometimes it can become overwhelming, really, I think, and we have to like funnel into like, what do we really actually need? And it's okay to try different things too. And just as long as you're always thinking about it and not getting set in that stale, like, oh, this is just the way I do it, because that'll get you left behind and you won't be able to like keep yourself excited about moving forward. That won't transfer to potential clients. So just keep an eye out on things out there and just check in with yourself periodically. Where am I? What do I need? Should I try something? Always be willing to try something. You're never going to regret trying something. You're never going to look back and be like, well, that was a bad idea to test drive that. No, try it out, try it all out. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And if it does, then you've saved yourself some time, or you've made new friends, or you've made new network, broadened your network and made new connections.
Yeah.
Because different things work for different people. The way that someone's mind works, different programs are a good fit for different people. And that's something that I've found personally, and love trying new things. And sometimes it can feel, like you said, overwhelming to kind of siphon those. But I do, like you said, encourage people to continue pushing forward on that.
Yeah. I like to think too, it's like, you need a tool or you need help when something becomes overwhelming, right? Like if you can't answer your emails in the same day, like, well, okay, here's a problem. Like, what are the emails? Like, what is it that you can't answer? Like, is there something that you can set in place beforehand? A template or an automation, or, is there a question that you can ask beforehand or send information beforehand that's eliminating these questions that I'm getting or these emails that I'm receiving, right? So I always say that, like, for every problem, there's something, there's a link that's missing right before it, right? So, and sometimes that's not always the case, but 9 out of 10 it is. So, taking a look and saying, okay, like clearly this is becoming an issue in my business. So is there a tool that can help me for this? And then your community is fantastic for that. Being able to just say, hey, this is a problem that I'm having. Like, does anybody else have this problem and how did you solve it? But I think also, the question of how do you know when you're ready for, right, is really also about where are you going, right? Like, where are you trying to take your business to? Are you trying to take it to the next level? Are you trying to look professional? Are you trying to solve a problem? And that is really key to figuring out like where you are in your place, because it's going to be different than the next person. And then I think lastly, like when it comes to my mind about how do I know if I'm ready for, this notion that there is just this all-in-one tool that is going to help you. And it just, this magical, mythical unicorn that we all like wants to exist. It really doesn't. And because your business is going to need things so differently, even just within a year, there's a tool that you might be using for the first 6 months and then you outgrow it. Or there's a tool that you start to use and you're like, wow, this is really overwhelming. And I don't think I'm not here yet. And so there's always going to be things that you're trying and you're evolving that you're either outgrowing or that you're not yet ready for. So this all in one, I wish I could just have like this one thing that does everything for me. It's never going to be the case. Your business is going to be continually in a new season and it's going to have all these different needs.
Yeah, that's right. It's kind of hilarious to think like 11 years ago, I mean, everything was via Google Docs, and it was such a mess. It was such a mess. I like processes. I like things to be nice and clean and pretty.
Yes.
And it was not that. So, it's like y'all have said, like Melissa said, like, don't be afraid because you got to keep up because your competitors are using these programs. They are researching them. They're trying them out. They're not afraid to be aggressive in getting better at their processes. And it shows. In fact, and in terms of other vendors and being a planner, I think that everybody can honestly, we should be learning from the interactions we're having with all these other vendors. Because I know that if there's anybody on this call that's doing more than 5 weddings this year, you've learned which vendors are easiest to work with. And a lot of that has to do with their process, with their CRM, with these things, a turnaround time. Because the vendor that's like, okay, I can't wait. It's going to take me like 6 weeks to get your proposal. I don't have time for that because my client's going to be on top of me those entire 6 weeks, waiting for that contract, waiting for that proposal. The world's moving too fast for that. So it's pretty exciting what you guys are doing. And the CRM, I think for me, the answer to when are you ready for a CRM, it's like now.
Yes. If you're asking the question, it was yesterday. So you should definitely get on it.
But yes. I know, like in the chat here, some Pamela is saying, I should have been purchased your bundle. Like, don't beat yourself up. It just takes time. Like when I first started Chancey Charm, I invested $300 because that's all I had to invest. And I had to do a lot of bootstrapping. I had to figure things out. And so, I hope people who are watching this know that there's so much love from us because we've all been in the industry for so many years. Nobody really starts with like this perfect business. It takes time. It takes time to realize.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how many people know about, the backstory of Rock Paper Coin, but that's exactly why Rock Paper Coin exists, actually, is it's two wedding planners who are sister-in-law, which is adorable. And, they grew their business to where, they wanted to grow it. Like they do hundreds of events a year and have X amount of planners, very similar to you, Sarah, in Portland. And, they got the dream, they built this business. But there was just constantly this issue of, hey, we're charging what we're deserving to be charging. We're doing all the things right. But we are paying so much in order to run our business. And how do we make this better? Like, how do we make this easier? Because this is getting painful. And, they tried all the tools out there. They tried everything out there and nothing really was as easy as it should have been. And I think that that's a really, really important thing about it is that, for how much automation, how many tools, and how many platforms there are out there, things have become complicated. They become complicated and a little bit hard to use, right? So they set out to just say, like, sometimes you just want to send an invoice, like you just want to get paid. And sometimes you just want to send a contract, and it should just be that. It should just be that easy. And so they did it. They built something that just went back to being simple. It wasn't this with this, and you can do this and this and this and this. And, I think that there's a really nice beauty in like simplicity sometimes, not overcomplicating things. And that's what they did. They created that. And I think that's really awesome. And now their business is filled with people that are in the industry. So many, like I think maybe 2 of our very small teamed employees, we are a team of 17, and only 2 of us are not directly from the actual industry. And that's pretty impactful. I think that's pretty powerful.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I love that. I love that simplicity and getting back to the basics, and also being cost friendly.
Right. Exactly.
It is painful.
It is painful. It is painful.
I try not to think about it, Katie. I just try not to think about it.
No, and again, like there are some seasons in your business that it is the season of pay all the money, right? Because you are transitioning and you're getting from this point to this point, and you need to pay to play. But then it goes away. And then, once you kind of streamline that process and you know what you're going after and you know what you're building and you know what you're trying to do, like that is the time to step back and say, okay, like this might be a little excessive now, or maybe there's a better way. But yes, there are seasons in your business that are going to be more costly than others.
Well, I would love to see, the back end, what you guys, how it's all set up. And just kind of what planners need to do to prepare to have a CRM like Rock Paper Coin, because I think that transition feels really overwhelming, especially if someone's kind of in the groove of like they have their Google Doc contract, they print it out, they take it to the meeting or they email it over, and they're getting a check, which please don't get checks. Just don't do it, because it, I just remember like messaging, have you sent the check?
Oh my gosh.
Have you sent the check? Please tell me the check. I now have another planner waiting to get paid. Have you sent the check? No, they have not sent the check. They told you they were going to send the check, but they did not send the check. Don't play the check game. Like I just have so many memories. And Chancey Charm was pretty big at that point, but still people wanted to pay by check. Now it's like, no, when you sign our contract, it's like, you cannot pay by check. So I think that it's overwhelming to think of going to this old school basic system that most planners start with. I mean, I didn't even have a contract when I started. Like, God bless America. It was not good. So, to go from that, no contract, what do we need to start using a CRM?
Yeah. Melissa.
Well, I would love to share my screen. Sarah, if you don't mind just disabling or allowing me to do that really quickly, then I will jump in and walk through, and I want to say, please interrupt me like with questions in the chat anytime, because we will kind of tag team and we can answer those. But okay, simplicity. This is where you land when you log into Rock Paper Coin. It's the blank space, the bright colors are intentional. This is designed to be easy to find what you're looking for when you're looking for it. And you can get to things in multiple ways. Like you want to send a contract, you can go up here. You want to send a contract, you can go down here. You want to send a contract in another way, I'll show you that too. It's designed to be easy to navigate. We don't actually want you, sounds counterintuitive, we don't want you to spend a lot of time on Rock Paper Coin. We want you to get in, do the thing you need to do, and get out. And that's frankly how your system should be when you're working, because your expertise and where you are needed most is not in a platform like this doing the business. So anyway, you'll see this throughout, and it's all very intentional. We have our month in review here. It's just kind of a little overview of what's been going on. Our dashboard is kind of like a running to-do list. As many of our members use it, you can trash can some of the things. If somebody's paid a contract, you can review what's been going on for the past couple of weeks or years. It's all captured there. There's another way to look at that too, and I'll show you that in a second. But the three things that most of our members are using the most are really easily accessed right here on our green action buttons. You can invite a client to join Rock Paper Coin by tapping invite, and we send them a quick email introduction. You can actually include that contract, as we talked about earlier. You can include that contract or an invoice in that email message to them right off the bat. And that said, it is not necessary for your clients to join Rock Paper Coin, but they get all the benefits of Rock Paper Coin, and it's free for them. So there's really no downside unless they're just really overwhelmed by platforms and joining all the things. But they'll be able to house their invoices with other vendors and you. They'll be able to house their contracts. They'll be able to share documents with you. You'll be able to share documents with them. It's so much easier to use Rock Paper Coin when you are a member of Rock Paper Coin. But that said, you can send a contract and get it signed by a client who doesn't join. You can send an invoice and get it paid by a client who doesn't join. So throwing that out there, but there's no reason not to. So it's that easy. Send an invite. And then when you want to jump into actually doing all the things, once you've invited your client, tap the contract button. It's going to take you to a page where you're going to have this upper part branded. So I have plugged in Chancey Charm here. You can add your logo, photo of your, some recent event that you've put on. You can describe your business right here. It's all going to be branded. We're trying to make you look professional, and we want it to be consistent across the board. So when we send automated reminders on your behalf, and I'll tell you more about that too, because that goes back to the efficiency point we chatted about, those will be branded. When you send invoices, those will be branded. When you're sharing documents, those will be branded. This is your business. Treat it as something that is as professional as you would want it to be. Again, even if it's aspirational, we're going to try and help you get there by helping you brand things and make it look all across the board, make it look similar. So I'm going to run through this process super quickly. Let's say big wedding up here, and I'll actually super quickly, because I'll show you how fast it actually is to do this in and out in 2 minutes. Pick a client that you want to send it to, or if you want to send it to a guest, you might have parents of your couple who are paying the invoice and the couple's not even going to see it. Send it to them. Maybe they don't want to join Rock Paper Coin. That's fine. Otherwise, pick a client you have loaded in and an expiration date for that contract. As we said, maybe it expires in 3 days. Let's put Friday. And then when you want to attach a contract, we will help you bring over, maybe you have one for day of coordination. Maybe you have one for full service planning. Maybe you have maybe you offer rentals. Bring all those contracts to Rock Paper Coin, and we will help you. We will turn those into templates for you. And that allows you to just go like this. Well, great. You can upload a new contract. That's always going to be an option. But my templates are my favorite. Pick the one you want. And then we go into this digitally secure system called HelloSign, which allows you to kind of customize this template a little bit, and then allows your customer, your client, to sign and fill in all their information. So technically speaking, you could have this template totally ready to go, and you've got text boxes there. You need them to add those things. You're going to add the fee for services here. Scroll to the bottom. Oh, name, signature, date, name, signature, date. You could literally just hit send right up here at this point, and your client has the contract already. It's that easy. If you want to customize any of this in the template at the time, like let's say you kind of have a little bit of a, we've all been there, right? A little bit of a flaky client. And you're like, I just want to make sure that they are really reading this limitation of liability. I'm going to drag the initials box over there. Okay, it's drag and drop. You don't want it, tap, delete, gone. It's very easy, but the templates help you get there faster. So I highly recommend that. But let's say it's ready to go, and we will prepare it for you. And we're going to drop it into that. You'll see in a second, but we're going to drop it into the branded heading that we did at the beginning. Right now, I need to put in my total fee for services. So this is a big wedding, and that's going to be that. I'm going to put Sarah in here. Sorry, Sarah, I'm signing on your behalf.
That is
and once we're happy with that, we're going to send it off. And you'll
our branding.
You'll see, yeah, you'll see in the lower left, contract sent. It's gone. The client has it. It's come from an email from Rock Paper Coin, but it will be branded with your information at the top. And it's that easy. You'll be able to see when they look at it. You'll get a notification when they sign it, and then it'll be saved in their client folder. And you will also have it in your contracts folder. So like I said, multiple ways to find multiple things and do multiple things. You'll find this contract right here for that client, and you can see what they've done. If you need to resend something, you can resend something. Very easy to navigate here. I'm going to jump over to invoices, which are going to look kind of similar in the sense, again, back to the branding. We're going to have the same look and feel. We're trying to keep it consistent across the board, make it easy for your clients to see what you're giving them and wanting them to sign. I think I called this big wedding, so we're going to stick with that. And then it's going to populate the event date right up there. You can add an attachment if you want. Maybe you've got different packages. Like I said, maybe you have rentals and you've been talking to your client about that. Add an attachment. Most of our members find that they just use all of the line items that they need. And this is really where you can get creative. So you could put deposit up here, and you could make that, let's say 2,000. You can add tax. And this is all key because right now, especially, so many of our members are, well, we're all in the middle of tax season, right? So many of our members are like, how do I pull everything out of Rock Paper Coin and all my payments so that I can share it with my CPA, or I can plug it into QuickBooks? We have an export button. It's one of our wonderful green buttons, and you can export everything from the year before. It's got all the tax that you've charged, everything broken down, and you can export it to QuickBooks. You can export it to a CSV file or an Excel file. And if you do your own taxes easily enough, you can pull things out of there, send it to your accountant, whatever you want. But I like to point that out because we've got you come tax time. Okay, and then let's say full service planning, and trying to remember what I think I put 15,000 earlier. So there it goes. It's going to do the math for you up here. You can go as many line items as you want. Get creative. You can add notes. My favorite part, and maybe this is a little bit nerdy, but is the payment schedule, because everybody's different. And so I appreciate that. You may be in the habit of sending an invoice and wanting it paid in full right off the bat. So you can customize that. You can set a due date. Let's say we want it by next Wednesday. However, if you want to have it 2 equal payments, you can do that. 3 equal payments, 4 equal payments, or my personal favorite, custom. And that allows you to break it into whatever amount you want. So you could put your deposit here, which I said was 2,000, I believe. Select your due date, and then add the remaining balance or add another installment, but it'll do the math for you. And for me, speaking personally, math is not my strong suit, so I appreciate that. And then just set a new due date here and look it over. If it's good, great. You can send it. If not, you can save the draft, crunch some numbers some more. You can always go back, both with contracts and invoices. Things change, right? We know this. Dates change, headcount doubles, venue changes, whatever. You can go back and edit. You can void. It makes it easy to keep track of all of these changes in Rock Paper Coin. But this is what your client's going to get. It's going to look like this. And Sarah, I know you don't want me to point this out, but Rock Paper Coin is designed for electronic payments. Pay by credit card, pay by debit card. That's what we're going for. Sarah, to Sarah's point, it's what you should be going for. However, if you have the client who's like insisting on a Zelle payment or a check payment and they're dropping it by your office,
No.
I just have to say it because there will be that person.
I know.
But there's a way to capture it, and you can just tap right here and you can record a payment in a different way. So check.
A miracle
cash.
happened
Don't
and
take
this
cash.
person sent a check.
A miracle happened. Let's say Zelle or whatever, anyway, you can record it here. And again, back to like tax purposes, this is really helpful because we're helping you really reconcile everything and keep everything 100% accurate throughout. And then also it stops automated reminders from us, because when you set these due dates that you want your invoices paid right here, we will set up reminder emails to go out to your clients to remind them. So once you send a contract or an invoice on Rock Paper Coin, forget about it. Like, don't even think about it anymore. We've got your back. We're going to remind them. You're going to get, and we find this with our members, they're getting contracts signed ahead of time. They're getting invoices paid ahead of time or on time way more often than they were before, just because they're not having to remind themselves to follow up. And frankly, nobody wants to call the client and be like, oh, can you pay your bill? We'll do that for you. No problems.
Yeah,
Okay.
The reminders are priceless. Just the send it and forget it. That's priceless. It saves
back to the efficiency.
Yeah. I used to do contracts when that was not the case. And it took so much of my time to go through and reconcile every month who had paid, who had not. And this is just a program like this is everything.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad you said that. And it really does. We're trying to streamline what your day looks like, make it easier. And I'm going to get to cost, because obviously money is a big factor in all this. And Katie mentioned this, we're not here to charge $1 million. We're trying to make it easy and simple, but to also save you money. So I'm going to, go back to that in just a second. But for our planners, I want to show this because you guys may have team members you're working with. You may have other people who need to have access to a client account or be able to see if somebody paid an invoice so that you can move forward on the next step or whatever. Well, you can add as many members to your team here as you would like. There's no different levels at Rock Paper Coin. It's just one subscription, one membership, and add 100 team members. I hope someday you have 100 team members and you can add them on here, or maybe that's too much to manage. I don't know. Let's say 40.
I'm going to be honest. I don't know about the 100, but
no, that's too much. We're not a global organization here. But yeah, I guess my point jokingly is that this is here for you to use this with whoever you work with, because we want to make it easy for you. So Patricia Party Planner, I don't know if you know Sarah, she just joined your team, but you can give her access to different clients. And then you can also give her different admin and viewing of those clients. So an admin's going to be able to see multiple clients, see their invoices, see the contracts. A planner is just going to be able to see the particular client that they've been assigned to. So there's some flexibility there.
Fabulous. Yeah, that's fabulous. And I'm a huge proponent of having a system where planners can log in and send their own contracts. I believe that actually in terms of sales, we've been chatting about that. If you have a team, which I'm currently managing well over 30 planners, it's really, really important for them to make that initial contact, to have the consultation themselves, and then to send the contract themselves. And I have tried it all. I've tried personally calling. I've tried personally sending contracts. I've hired someone that I felt like was maybe better at I was at sales, to see if she had more time. So to try to micromanage that process in a lot of ways, it was micromanaging. That wasn't the intention. We trust all of our planners, but then we finally were like, okay, we're just gonna let the planners send their contracts themselves. And we had such a higher booking rate, because if you can't trust someone on your team to send a client a contract, how can they trust them to plan their wedding? That was 100%. The underlying message. And so we've had so much success with having planners have their own account in the CRM and sending their own contracts.
I love that. And you're so right. And it also is you're developing them as professionals as well, right? So it's like, we
Absolutely.
have to like coach them and bring them up to a place where maybe they're not there right now, but they have to try it. They have to do it. And there's no better way than to get in there and do it yourself. And then it gives you the oversight as the owner of this. You would still be able to go in and see what's happening on any different client. You can go into your client folder and see what the status of things are. You still have access to all of that. So it doesn't cut you out of the loop, which is fantastic.
Funny enough, we're transitioning from a kind of a situation where, sorry, somebody's coming in. We're transitioning from independent contractors and associates to marketing for planners. And so we're just sending leads. They're sending their own contracts under their own brand. That's the movement. That's where Chancey Charm is headed. And so actually having them familiar with their own CRM was so helpful, because it was one less thing for them to be stressed about when launching their own business. And I think, if you're truly in it to develop other women and give opportunity to other women, the reality is, if you have a team, people are going to be in and out. And if you're truly in it to develop them, if you limit them from doing these activities, you're actually not truly developing them.
I love that. And it's so important, I think. I mean, amen. Thank you for saying that, because that's, at the end of the day, we are a community, and that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to build each other up and like support them and not hold anybody back. So not to say that's what we're here for, but we can help with that. I like to point out the folders really quickly, and then we can jump into some questions in a minute or two. But I like to point this out in particular because this is relatively a new feature to Rock Paper Coin, and it came about because members told us, they give us feedback, I really need a way to share documents with my clients. I need to have things that I can send them that I know are not going to their spam folder, that they can access at any time. So you can attach like a PDF, for instance. It's still going to be branded with your information up here. And we said, oh gosh, that's a good idea. We haven't kind of really vetted that, but we're hearing from our members, and lo and behold, our developers produced it, turned it into this wonderful feature. And I say this because we're not that company who's like, oh yeah, you're lucky to be here working with us. We're like, give us all the feedback, tell us what works, tell us what you need. We're here to make you successful. Because again, as Katie was talking about, we were founded by wedding planners, and they needed a system that was here to support them. And that's what we do. We listen, we actively are soliciting feedback. So if you join Rock Paper Coin and you're like, what would be really amazing? Tell us, we want to hear it. But the folders came out of that, and it's a way to share documents super easily. You can connect to Google Drive, you can upload a file from your computer, and you'll have a folder for each client. You'll also have one for your business. So if you want to include headshots and bios of your team, if you want to include your preferred vendor list, or you have catering menus for a bunch of caterers that you work with a lot already loaded in there, and you want to share, you can keep those things, so you're not having to reinvent the wheel every client and upload them and send them. You've got it in your company folder. Again, just designed to kind of streamline and simplify. S&S. We kind of keep hitting on those words, and that's really what we're doing here. And resources also came out recently because members wanted to. Oh, and Sarah, thank you. You touched on this, the consultation checklist and her other branded her template emails, but this came out because our community wanted to engage with other members in the community and all kind of benefit from what everybody has to offer. So we have this in our resources, and it's growing all the time. We're adding to it. So we're thrilled to have this here. Okay, I am going to breeze over here to the company page and show you how easy it is to brand and set up your account, but with a huge caveat that we will do this for you for free. We have a whole system called white glove onboarding, and we really want, again, to set you up for success, to make it so that you can come into your Rock Paper Coin account and literally just go tap the green button to send a contract or invite a client. Awesome. We will set up everything. Email us your logo, a photo you want to use for your branding, any way you want to describe this. We put planner of perfect events. You can describe your business in any way. We'll set that up entirely for you. And like I said earlier, we'll bring your contracts over and upload those as templates for you. So take advantage of that, because it's free, and it helps you transition from one system to another, which we know is a pain. Nobody wants to do. We'll take the hassle out of that. But I like to point out, it is actually really easy. If you change your logo down the road, it's as easy as tapping this and uploading a new one from your computer. So there's that. Branded emails. Again, like I said, we want to keep that consistent. If you don't want it, you can toggle it off. And then I'm going to jump into money and cost really quickly. Really, the way that Rock Paper Coin works is that we have a one flat membership fee. The annual fee is $250 a year, and that includes everything. It's, again, the white glove onboarding. It's a dedicated member success manager who, if you have a client down the road whose, let's say, credit card is expired, and so the payment didn't go through, we'll get in touch with the client. You can reach us, tell us, hey, it didn't go through. We'll get in touch with your client. We'll follow up, get their credit card up to date, get that invoice paid. So they're not different tiers. It's all included. We're here for you. Take advantage of us. So it's $250 a year. And then we also, per invoice, have a processing fee of 2.5%. And that's really what Stripe, our payment processor, is charging to process that. Again, we're a secure system for you to run credit card and debit card payments so that you don't have to worry about any of the other hassles of that. We're taking that on. If you, and so many of our members do this, if you don't want to have that 2.5% taken off of those invoices you're getting paid, work it into your invoice. So many of our members do that. It's an administrative fee. It's a cost of doing business. So there's that. And then I like to point out, this pay to account is like probably the second thing you should do when setting up your account, because this is how you get paid. So when an invoice gets paid by a client, we, within 2 business days, will deposit it into your bank account. You don't have to come to us and press a button to transfer the fund. Nope. We will do it automatically. So this is really key to get this bank account all set up and ready to go. And that's really it for like cost and money. We try and keep it simple. We're keeping the fees down as much as possible so that what you're getting paid and your hard-earned and well-deserved money and income is staying in your pocket. So that's always going to be a driving force for us.
Sorry to interrupt. How does that compare to other platforms?
So the processing fee, 2.5%, is the lowest of our competitors are out there right now. And when it gets into these percent processing fees, like 0.1% can make a difference. If you're sending a pretty large invoice, it hits. But 2.5, my understanding is there's like 2.7, 2.9 out in the market, maybe, but we're keeping it the lowest, and while still working with a, Stripe, which is a well-known brand, is very legit payment processor. So yeah, it's the lowest. As far as annual fees, I think we're some of the lowest as well. It works out to be like $19 or $20 a month. So it's just, again, we're not here to like hit people in their wallets. We're here to like make it easier for you and not also cost an arm and a leg.
Yes.
I think the other thing too is that, this started out predominantly being used as planners, but we have since evolved, and, we have caterers, we have venues, we have florists, we have photographers. We have all these different vendors that are now using this platform. And Melissa's right. Like, that 2.5% is going to hit differently depending on what your pricing is. But when you do compare that 2.5% to the 2.7, the 2.9, the 3, the 3.5 that is out there right now, that does hit differently. That for a lot of our members, we asked them last year at the end of the year, it's like, hey, you've been using Rock Paper Coin for a year, like, give us your feedback, like, give us that information. And, for a caterer, like, they were able to get a truck, they were able to get a new van because of that price difference throughout the year. For a florist, they were able to rent a studio and actually get into a floral space. So for a lot of businesses, like, what you're paying out for credit card payments is a huge chunk of that business, which is great. But the other thing that makes it so much more affordable is that other competitors out there that may be at that 2.7 or 2.9, they're also additionally charging for additional users. You can only send 10 invoices or 10 contracts, or 15 invoices and 15 contracts. And then you have to go up and pay for the next package, where we don't have any of that. It is just that simple flat rate. So you're definitely winning on both ends there.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. Love it. It's beautiful.
Yeah. It's super clean. It's my favorite. Like, I love that not only is this what you see, but then seeing those contracts and seeing those invoices and seeing how clean and well branded they are, it's just really, really nice. It's also just very, very client friendly. So that's a lot of feedback that we also receive, is that if a system is complicated or takes a long time for you to send on your end, and it's not necessarily, let's call it just user friendly, then chances are it's probably not as user friendly on the client side either. And you want that part to be flawless. Like, that needs to be fast and easy so that they don't have to say, okay, I'm going to deal with this later because this seems a little bit complicated, or this is really long, or this is really big. I can't dive into this right now. And so if that's what people are feeling or seeing the minute they get a contract or an invoice from you, then that is going to be a hindrance. So keep it clean, keep it easy, keep it fun. Sarah, I heard you say in between there, like, you love the branding that's in there, and you want to have fun when using a system, or you want it to look nice, or you want it to look pretty.
Professional. Yeah.
And so we do. We have a little bit of fun with it.
Love it.
Yeah. And then lastly, one of the things we love hearing from our members, how they're using the platform, because again, everybody uses it a little bit differently, which is a wonderful, beautiful thing. But actually in folders, what we have seen quite a few of our members doing is they are on Google Drive, they have like a welcome video. And they are putting that into their clients, basically like in their documents area. So when they log into their account and they get set up on Rock Paper Coin, there's a really friendly, happy, lovely little video that they get to see. And I think that that's just a really fun, nice touch that people are doing as well.
That's awesome. I love that idea.
Yeah. So about cost, it is $250 a year. It is a flat rate. That is it. But because we love Sarah so much, and because we love her community and everything that she's doing, everyone within your program gets their entire year free. And I know, right? You're the confetti here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So using code Chancey Charm, thank you so much. You just go ahead and sign up. Is always free. Never have to put in your credit card. You can actually, we're one of the only platforms where you can actually try out the platform for 30 days, send an invoice or a contract and try it out without having to worry about anything like that. So you can do that.
You can even get your white glove onboarding during that free 30 days. Like, get your branding loaded up. We'll create templates. Like, we just want to make it successful for you to try it out yourself. So yes, do it.
Yeah. And the white glove really came on because we know that for people that already, for someone who doesn't have a system, getting onto their very first system is not really a hiccup. But for someone who's been in a system, and oh my gosh, been there, done that. I stayed in a system for way too long because the idea of moving to another system was exhausting. And so the white glove onboarding really came from that feeling and knowing what that felt like, and knowing that there are so many people out there that are using a system that they've either outgrown or that isn't really working for them very well. But the idea of moving to a new one is just more scary than losing all that money.
Yeah.
So that doesn't come also with that promo code. And just love, right? Like, even our resources section is provided for our community as our give back. It's an added value. You get access to free templates, free guides, free downloads from tried and true and trusted professionals and industry educators that you love. And it's all there free for you. So yeah, we're just all about community and helping people grow.
And I just want to say really quickly that, this is one thing for me to do, like this very quick over like 30,000 foot level demo. But if you are interested in a personal demo that's really tailored to you and your business and what your needs are, like reach out to us. I'm happy to do that anytime to really show you how it might work for you, because again, we know everybody's different. So that's always an option. And, definitely feel free to reach out. And maybe it's not the right fit right now, but then you have a better understanding of what we can offer you for your particular business needs.
Well, thank you guys so much for that generous offer. I really appreciate it. And I know that our planners are going to appreciate it. I cannot wait to like shout that from the rooftops, because especially with the white glove service, that is a pain point for people. And I think, wow, like just huge that you're going to, because so often these people getting on a new CRM and they're out there like, can someone help me?
Yeah.
That's on really a great reflection on that CRM.
We don't want that. We want it. We're here for you.
It's for y'all to solve that problem. I would love to take questions. We just had one about the 3D rendering service. I explained that was just an example of a document you might add for a client.
Yeah.
Does anybody else have any questions?
We are here. Yeah, I really, really love, we don't have like a sales team here at Rock Paper Coin, and that's what I really love. Like we have a community team, we have a member success team. Like it really is just about being helpful, which I think is fantastic. But I think there's a fear about signing up and trying something, because it's like, oh, I got to put in my information and then they're going to email me a bunch of times. There's going to be all of this just like follow up, and it feels really, really gross. And so I love our process of being able to I tell people all the time, just sign up. It's free. Like you don't have to put in your credit card information. You get to actually just play around with it and feel if it's right for you. And then that gives you access to being able to see like, hey, is this a good fit? Like I appreciate that part of it, instead of feeling like you're signing up for something that now you have to cancel or figure out how to cancel.
I love it.
Oh, no questions. I love this.
I think you guys just did such a great job of explaining everything. Let's can we stop the share and then we can see everybody's pretty faces?
Yeah.
I'm like, I need to see faces. Just to make sure I'm not missing anybody. Does anybody have a question? I really think y'all like covered so much. I mean, you covered everything about Rock Paper Coin, but I also think there were some really good sales tips on this call. And just, if nothing else, it's getting people their wheels turning about a CRM. I know that, it is overwhelming step to take, but really important if you want to have a professional business that comes across as professional, that wins over clients and books clients and those kind of things. And I love what you said about it's a community, it's not a sales team, because we're really just here to help people. And just that the rates are so low and those kind of things, really, really important, really valuable. Such a great ad. Love the folders aspect. Look forward to seeing, kind of what is down the pipeline eventually for you guys.
So much.
Yeah. Okay. Anybody have a question?
I love it.
I just want to make sure. I just like hate to cut someone off. It's like, oh man. Well, I am going to be sharing this on YouTube. People can definitely comment or ask questions. I'm sure Katie will hop in there or Melissa and be happy to answer questions. But again, thank you guys so, so much for your time. Time is valuable.
Yes. Thank you for
especially mompreneur life over here. Yeah. Any closing thoughts?
No, just thank you so much. I love your community so much. And this was amazing getting to spend the morning with you.
I love it. And thank you to everybody who joined. And I just hope go out there and do big things, guys. That's what we're trying to do. We, believe in you, and I love the community aspect of that. So that's really what we're here for.
Yeah, follow us on Instagram because we love promoting everything that's going on with everyone on Instagram. Like we connect vendors to vendors and new communities all the time. So give us a follow. We love our Instagram community and being able to promote and just celebrate all the wins that everybody has.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so, so very much.
Yeah, thank you.